I'm happy to be joined here today with the Chief of the Lloydminster Rescue Squad, Norm Namur, for our year-end interview. Norm, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Jackson. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So before we kind of get into what we're going to be talking about, why don't you just tell me about how 2024 went for you?
Well, that's a loaded question. 2024, it's always an exciting year again, a busy year in terms of call volume. Not so much on the boat side. We had about 2 or 3 calls on the boat side this year, which we're able to utilize our both boats. And then the call volume, we did about 45 rescue calls this year, and that includes deer strikes, animal strikes, and that sort of thing, rollovers and collisions of that sort. So it's been, excuse me, an interesting year. Again, we're looking forward to 2025 again, and this year's call volume pretty well matches again of last year's. So we're right in the same kind of call volume as it was last year.
And Norm, what would you say were some of the highlights of 2024 for you and the squad?
Well, I think one of the exciting highlights for me, and I know our group, has been the 2024 Gala, our Sapphires and Sirens Gala. We changed a few things up, and we just had a great amount of people come. It's been good. We've had the sponsorship was great again this year. In fact, so good that next year we've already got 3-4 sponsors already lined up. So we're excited about that. The band was awesome. We had a really great band, which engaged the crowd pretty good. And there were some characters out there dancing a storm, so that was lots of fun. So
yeah, you were kind of leading up to my next question
Oh.
there. Your Sirens and Sapphires Gala event that you guys had in October.
Yes.
So for anyone who doesn't really know what that is, could you just explain what it is and how you felt it went this year?
Well, what it is, it's one of our major fundraisers for the year, and that includes fundraising for new equipment, some of the specialty equipment that we have. For example, last year I think was the underwater ROV, and the year before that we had the towfish, and we have some major sponsors that always contribute to that. The Synovus and Boundary Ford they've been just an asset to our not only to us but to the rest of the community, because this equipment not only it works in the area, our area, but it can go from any province and anywhere. So it's such a valuable piece of equipment.
So I heard you guys did get new equipment this year. So could you just talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes, and I'm not that technical, but it's I've used it. So Synovus had made a donation this year. It's going to be going to virtual reality. So with our Deputy Chief Ryan and Synovus and the organization that we had purchased it, the reality equipment from, next year we started beginning just to set up the room with the TV and whatever else we need to go in there to actually be prepared for virtual reality. And the neat thing about that is they've come down and videoed some of the equipment in our truck and some of the equipment, how to operate it. So for example, I use the generator or our light tower comes up on the truck. There's a sequence you've got to use. So they've set it up so that you hook up, you put on your gloves, put on your virtual reality goggles, and you actually go and start the unit up and go through the process of making the tower go up, turn, come down, light up, which gives us that opportunity that we can get now any new members that come on board. We can get them into this room. They can set up the goggles. Once we get them set up, they can go through that process until they get it right.
Now kind of moving forward to the rescues, what were some big rescues that you guys were involved in this year?
Well, this year we've had some motor vehicle collisions that resulted in loss of life, which is always a tragedy. And I think we had 3 this year. And I think my comment with that is we just need to understand that people need to slow down and just pay attention. And I think we can kind of maybe hopefully we can avert some of those tragedies, because it's something that we do every year. And afterwards, we always try and do a debrief, because it is traumatic even for our members. So we make sure we follow them for at least a week or so, and then just keep on questioning and making sure that they're fine.
And final question I have for you, Norm. What are your goals and expectations for 2025 for the squad?
That's a good question. So I think one of our goals, we always try and improve on safety, and one of our goals this year is to purchase a 2024 whatever vehicle. We're looking at a vehicle at Boundary Ford to pull our boat. So we're looking at a 250, 350 kind of Super Duty truck. So we can pull the big boat, we can pull the airboat, and its primary use is going to be traffic control. So we're going to try and set it up with some of the advanced traffic control equipment that we can find out there. We have some ideas. So that's going to give us a little better coverage too when we're out on traffic control. The individual doing traffic can be right by the truck and seek shelter in there. If it's a cold day or if it's rainy out or something like that, you can go in and out of the vehicle. The other one we're looking at, so that's number one goal, and so we're going to start fundraising for that. The second one is to look at some different equipment, which is the spreader or the jaws of life, cutters, and possibly a ram. And those will all be that 60 volt, so we don't have to worry about hose reels, hydraulic pressure, starting an engine, gas, oil, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to be looking at that, and I think this year that's going to be one of our big goals also, is to get equipment that's a lot more versatile and portable. You can carry it from here to there. You don't have to worry about hoses and fuel. So we're excited about that, and I think those are our two main things. The other big thing is looking at training, continue our training. Training is a big part of our group. Continual training for the airboat, for the our Kingfisher, the sonar, the electronic equipment, the towfish, the underwater camera, or the underwater ROV. So it's quite extensive, and you've got to be a little technical. And I think they're trying to push me out a little on the technical side. But no, there's some young people on our squad that are quite technical and have a good understanding of the technical abilities that this equipment has. So again, the training too is going to be a big part of our course for 2025.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing more from the Lloydminster Rescue Squad, and wish you guys nothing but the best for 2025.
Well, thank you very much for having us, Jackson, and appreciate it, and Merry Christmas.